Okay, well, welcome back to the channel. Um, Today, we're going to put some traction tires on this old beast here. It's the 8632 Lionel. Um, this is the old traction tire, and it was on here, and it kept spinning off. And it's pretty old. I got it off. It was dried up, just dry rotted, and not in very good shape. So today we're going to put some new ones on here. Alright, so I know that there are sockets and whatnot that can be used, but I don't want to over tighten this thing, and we're going to try to do this as easy as possible. So we got the old channel locks here, but there's a bolt right here that goes right into that wheel, and there's going to be a spacer in between this and the other one. I can go ahead and see if I can, this one here. So let's go ahead and get this off and see what we can do here, because this has to come off so that we can put the new tires on. So like I said, you don't want to put the hank on this. This should be relatively, tight enough to stay in, but there we go. Now this bolt does have a very, very small spacer on it. You can see that shiny piece on that black bolt there. That goes in this hole right here between the two slots, in those two holes, and this hole right here. But basically we're just going to take that off, and then we're going to slide a new traction tire on it. Just kind of like putting an O-ring on something. So let's get this old boy on here and see how bad this is going to be. Hopefully I don't have a whole lot of smoke fluid in there. So I'm just going to lift it up and get this started on one side of the wheel, and then just work my way around to the other here. I'm just going to stretch that over there just like you're putting an O-ring on something. And there we go. Just push her on down there all the way till she's seated. And there we go. Now we're just going to put these two back. That one goes there. That one goes there. And we're going to put this screw in right here. I like to run it till I can't turn it with my fingers anymore. Then give it another quarter turn. Just enough where I can't back it off with my fingers. And then we've got that new tire on there. And we're going to go ahead, put this one on this side the same way, and we'll be back. Alright, well that was relatively simple. Getting this off was a whole lot harder, and I wish I would have. I lost that bit of footage, but definitely using an O-ring pick would help. And it was really surprising to me that it would just come off while it was um, riding, but it would just ride itself back onto the wheel. But it was really annoying. But when I went to take it off after it had rode itself back onto the wheel, it was real hard to get off. So I mean, I had to get in there with my fingernail, a screwdriver, and had an L-shaped O-ring pick, which is what eventually got me to get this thing off of here. But in any event, we've got new tires on her, and I would say that one was pretty well worn out because this is the new one. And this was the old wore out one, and there it fits inside. So that's a pretty big difference right there. So hopefully we're going to get our traction tires to stick there. I did have a spot there where she was trying to slip, and hopefully this fixes it. So that's simple. Let's see if she's going to do. Oh yeah, she's pulling real good now. Oh wow, I got to slow her down now. Oh yeah, she's pulling a whole lot better. So there you go. Simple little tire change. I'm not having any slipping. And man, she is just pulling smooth as beans now. So I'm truly happy with that. I did save 2 for the other steamer. And let's go ahead and turn that off for a minute where we can talk here for just a second. Because how these switches work is they will automatically change their self to keep from derailing. It's the automatic derail feature. But you have to have connection from here to here. And the wheels do that. Now, if you was watching my other video, I was saying I was having trouble with the switches with this thing. This thing is massive weight-wise, and it just pushed the switches over. I did not realize that the switcher wasn't the one doing it until recently. But the problem is they don't have a tire here and a tire here. Okay, which is fine on like the back one, but the front one needs 2 bare tires so that it can make the connection across, so that this will switch. And they put a traction tire here and a traction tire here. Now this is a used unit. I don't know if it was came from the factory like that. I would imagine not. But there's a traction tire here and here, and we never get the connection between the 2 rails to make the switch flip. So the switch didn't actually try to flip until it got to these back wheels, and at that point this monster had just hit that thing and pushed it over on its own, which is fine. I've got it cleaned up enough to do that, but then it's moving that inside that solenoid, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I figure what I'm going to do is we're going to take these trucks off, maybe these metal outers, I've got to do some research on how to do that, but I want to take this front traction tire off and put it on this back wheel where these have the traction. These are bare, where these can make the connection to flip the switch. I'm going to have to do a little research on how to take this apart though. And like this says it's, let's see, there's my directional controls. Doesn't say a whole lot of what this thing actually is. I'm sure there's other YouTubers and train hobbyists who know better what they're looking at. There's a number here. But I'm going to have to do a little research because the one video I saw said there was a screw here and here to take off, and that must be a newer engine than this one, because this one does not have those screws. But I'll do research on this, and we're going to have to take this tire off, put it over here. That way we have the connection, the ground connection, I call it a ground connection, but to connect those two tracks to make this flip on its own and not just be slammed into by the locomotive and flipping it the hard way, so to speak. But anyway, just a little quickie there on the traction tires for the steamer, because the steamer was pulling good the way it was, but it kept throwing that tire, so I wanted to fix that. I tried running it without the tire, and it done all right, but there was just some places while it was moving, you would see those wheels spin up real fast where it would just lose traction. I mean, it would keep going. Kind of like getting stuck in the mud. Don't stop or you're just stuck, you know. But that should run a whole lot better now. So, I guess that's a bit. Oh, I've got a little bit of update. I've started, if you look over there, you can kind of see some track there. I ran out of track. I'm in my own light again. Of the 027. I'm going to make a 027 loop around the outside. I was telling y'all I was planning on doing that. And that's what I'm working on now. I'm trying to order some more track. I did win my bid on some passenger cars that I'm going to run passenger cars on this inner loop, and I'm just going to have freight running on this outer loop. Because I guess, you know, in real life, they're not going to loop a freight train. I mean, they might loop it in the industrial area, but not in housing, usually. You know, there's usually a bypass. So I want to run the freight on the bypass, and passenger cars would kind of have more of a reason to run into town where they can stop at various places and kind of use it like a public transit or you know, something like that. But it just seems like it would be more feasible that the train that's running through the middle of town would be passenger based. Eventually I might find a way to connect these two where we can flip between, and I'm probably going to bring this out a little more than what it actually is, so I'll probably get another full-size straight and cut it in half, and to give me another 1.5 inches, 2 inches on each side, something like that on both ends. But I knew I wasn't going to have enough 027, but I did start laying it out just so I would know. And like I said, all of this has to come back up anyway. So it's really just hard to pull it up before I have my fast grass, or what I'm going to put as a base, either foam and fast grass or just fast grass, because I can kind of play with it right now. But anyway, till next time.